humanity remained silent for 20,000 years. Then the ghost ship returned among the stars. For 20,000 years, humanity had been silent. The stars that once carried human voices, signals, and ships were quiet. Other civilizations had come and gone in that time. Some had grown large and proud, building fleets that crossed entire galaxies. Others had disappeared entirely, leaving only ruins and the memory of their existence. Yet humans, who once spread like wildfire across the stars, were gone, or so the galaxy believed. Jack Morris stood on the edge of the observation deck of his small home, on orbit of a remote planet. He traced the dark patches of space with his finger. Though the glass was clean and smooth, the stars twinkled coldly beyond, distant and silent. Jack was a historian, though he called himself that quietly. He had no university, no title, and no official recognition. The rest of the galaxy did not need to remember humans, and he did not seek permission to keep the memory alive. In the corner of his room, a hollow projector hummed softly. It displayed maps, old data files, and images of ships that had not flown for centuries. Jack studied every detail with care. Each symbol, each hull design, each faint record told a story. Stories that were no longer told aloud. Stories of humanity's rise, its wars, its victories, and its survival. Kate Ellis worked far below, in an old shipyard that survived only because of her stubbornness. She was a human engineer, one of the few who still remembered the ways of human construction without help from galactic databases. Her hands moved over an old ship frame, tightening bolts and rewiring circuits. The ship was broken, battered from long centuries of disuse, yet Kate refused to let it die. She spoke quietly to it, as if it could hear her. "Don't worry, old girl," she said, wiping grease from her face. "We'll get you flying again." The shipyard was small, cramped, and filled with the smell of oil and metal. Kate's neighbors rarely visited. They feared humans, or at least the few that remained, because the story said humans were dangerous. But Kate did not care about fear. She cared about survival, about keeping the knowledge alive. She knew that one day humans would be needed again, even if the galaxy forgot them. That day, however, was not expected so soon. Strange readings appeared near a jump corridor that had been abandoned for millennia. Alien patrols noticed the energy first, their sensors detecting something large, ancient, and moving. It was not a normal ship. It emitted no identification signals, no communication, only a faint hum that seemed almost alive. In a distant alien city, a council member named Lorik frowned at the readings. He had spent his life managing fleets and borders. He had seen many strange things in the galaxy, but this puzzled him. "What is it?" he asked aloud, though no one in the room could answer. The sensors could not identify the ship. It did not match any known designs. It did not respond to scans. The alien engineers tried everything, from sending small probe ships to using advanced scanning arrays, but nothing worked. The ship moved with purpose, almost as if it knew the patrols were watching. Back on the remote planet, Jack Morris watched the same data reports that reached the alien fleets. He felt a strange excitement he had not felt in decades. His hand shook as he zoomed in on the readings. He whispered to himself, "It's them. It has to be." Kate Ellis also noticed the signals. Her old sensors in the shipyard picked up something unusual. The energy signature matched designs she had only seen in old human texts. She frowned, her heart racing. "Jack," she said, reaching for her comlink, "are you seeing this?" Jack's voice came through almost immediately. "I'm seeing it, Kate. I think it's a human ship, a real one." Kate laughed, a short, nervous sound. After 20,000 years, do you think the galaxy is ready for us? Then he said quietly, I don't think it matters if they are ready. It is time. The ship moved slowly at first, appearing as a ghost in the void. It had survived countless storms, meteors, and encounters that would have destroyed any normal vessel. Its hull was scarred, but still functional. Alien scientists could not explain it. Human records spoke of ships that lasted centuries, even millennia. But most aliens believed these were myths. Now, the myth was real. Ethan Ross, a young human pilot raised among aliens, stared at the strange readings. He had never seen a human ship before, though he had heard legends from his adoptive family. He felt drawn to the ship, an invisible pull that he could not resist. It was as if the ship knew him, and he knew it, on another world. Lisa Grant, an alien linguist, examined the symbols on the hull when a probe managed to capture images. She could not read the language at first, but the shapes were familiar, oddly simple and precise. After hours of study, she realized they were human markings, old and faded. She felt a chill. Humans had vanished, yet here were signs that they had returned. The ghost ship finally transmitted a message, not in alien code, not in modern galactic language, but in old human speech. The words were simple but filled with meaning. Humanity had not fallen. Humanity had only waited. The galaxy had assumed silence meant death, but it was not so. Humans had been listening, watching, learning. Alien governments panicked, fleets mobilized in fear, unsure whether this was a threat or a miracle. Old alliances broke as species tried to understand what the ghost ship wanted. Many feared humans would seek revenge for the time they had been ignored. For the millennia, the galaxy had assumed they were extinct. Jack Morris smiled quietly as he read the news. He had expected this reaction. Humans were strong, but they were patient. That was their advantage. Patience and planning. Humans never attacked without reason, but when they moved decisively. Kate Ellis continued her work in the shipyard, her hands steady despite the excitement. She felt a surge of hope. The old designs, the old knowledge, everything she had preserved was suddenly important again. Humans were returning, and the galaxy would remember them. The ghost ship changed its course, heading toward known space, toward the core of civilizations that had once underestimated humans. It moved slowly but with certainty, a reminder that even in silence, humans had never truly been gone. In the outer regions, small alien patrols tried to intercept it, but the ship's defenses activated automatically. Energy shields and weapons, long dormant, turned on in warning. None fired, but the patrols knew they could not approach. The ghost ship was alive, aware, and patient. It was not reckless. It did not need to be. Ethan Ross felt the pull stronger as the ship approached. He knew, deep down, that humans were about to return in a way no one had expected. He wanted to be part of it, to see the history he had only read about come to life. Jack and Kate prepared for what would come next. They could not know how the galaxy would react, but they knew humans had waited for this moment for 20,000 years. The ghost ship was only the beginning. Humans had chosen silence for a reason. But now the reason had passed. The galaxy would have to see humanity again, not as myth, not as legend, but as a force that had endured, hidden and patient, through millennia. The stars beyond were no longer just points of light. They were waiting, watching, alive in their own way. Humanity's silence had ended, and the ghost ship's return would be remembered for generations to come. Jack turned from the observation deck, eyes bright with anticipation. "It has begun," he said quietly. Kate nodded, tightening the last bolts on her ship. "Yes," she said.
And we are ready. The galaxy had forgotten humans, but humans had not forgotten themselves. The silence was over.
The ghost ship had returned, and with it the story of humanity would awaken once more among the stars. Dot, the ghost ship, moved steadily through the void, its hull shining faintly under distant starlight. It had survived countless dangers, and yet it was calm, patient, like a predator observing its surroundings without urgency. Alien patrols detected it in different sectors, and panic spread quickly among the civilizations that had long forgotten humans. Fleets were raised, warships scrambled, and alarms sounded in dozens of worlds. F. and Ross watched the ship from the bridge of a small alien scout vessel. He was not yet officially part of any human command, but he felt a connection to the ship that could not be explained. The energy readings were unlike anything in the galaxy, almost alive. His heart raced. "It's not just a ship," he said to his co-pilot, a small alien named Viri. "It's something more." Viri tilted his head. "Something more?" he asked. "It is a vessel. All vessels are something." "Why do you speak like this?" Ethan did not answer. He could feel the intelligence within the ghost ship. It was old, ancient, but aware. It was not reckless, but it knew exactly where it was going. The scout vessel tried to follow, but the ship's speed and maneuvering were beyond the patrol's ability to predict. It moved like a shadow through the stars. On a faraway world, Lisa Grant continued her study of the symbols etched into the hull images the probes captured. She had translated parts of the messages, written in old human language. The words were simple, yet precise. Humans had not vanished. They had only waited. The language carried a calm authority that made her shiver. "These are warnings," she told the council over a secure channel. "They do not threaten us, but they remind us. Humans survived long before us, and they learned things we cannot even imagine. They were afraid. For thousands of years, humans had been a story, a myth, a warning to young species. Now the myth had returned. Fleets gathered near the outer rim, hoping to intercept the ghost ship. Weapons were armed, shields raised, and communications jammed. The galaxy wanted to control, or destroy, what it did not understand. Jack Morris and Kate Ellis worked quickly. Jack pored over old human navigation logs, star maps, and records of systems humans had visited centuries ago. "The ship is heading for the core," he told Kate. "It knows where the most dangerous civilizations are, and it will not run from them. It will move directly toward them." Kate nodded, her hands busy on a different project. She had rebuilt a smaller vessel, one designed to keep pace with older human ships. "We need to be ready to meet it," she said. "Not to fight, but to guide. It will need us for the first contact." Meanwhile, the ghost ship entered sectors controlled by a coalition of alien races. It did not respond to hails or signals, yet it carried out actions that seemed deliberate. Old human defense arrays, long forgotten, began to activate along its path. Automated stations that had not worked for centuries powered on silently, scanning the void for threats. Aliens watched in horror as weapon systems they thought dead suddenly came online without any human crew on board. Ethan felt the pull grow stronger as he approached the ghost ship. He did not know why, but he could not resist. He knew humans had waited, hidden in the shadows of the galaxy, but he had not expected to see them return in this way. The ship was more than a legend. It was a force of memory and precision, moving without emotion, but with perfect understanding. On one of the council's worlds, Lorik and his advisors argued. "We cannot allow this," he said, slamming a hand on the table. "We do not know its intentions. We must destroy it before it reaches the core." "Destroy it?" one of the younger council members asked. "Do you even know what you are talking about?" It is not like any ship we have faced before. Our weapons cannot touch it." Loric's face twisted in frustration. "If we wait, we lose the advantage. Humans may strike first. We cannot risk it." As the debate continued, the ghost ship approached the edge of the system. Alien patrols tried to block its path. They formed a loose cordon with dozens of ships, hoping to intimidate the vessel into stopping. Their weapons charged, but the ghost ship did not respond. It slowed slightly, almost acknowledging the patrols, yet it did not change course. Sensors aboard the alien ships malfunctioned as they tried to read the hull. Energy fields appeared around the vessel, shielding it from scans. Automated defenses within the ghost ship moved silently, not firing, but projecting a warning that none of the aliens had seen before. The patrols felt exposed and small in comparison. Ethan reached the ghost ship's proximity. He watched it carefully, heart pounding. His instincts told him this was no ordinary encounter. He whispered, "I belong here." Back on the remote planet, Jack studied old tactical diagrams. The ghost ship was acting like a perfect human fleet commander, moving through enemy lines without firing. It was sending messages, not threats, showing that humans had survived and had a purpose greater than conquest. Kate joined him, looking over his shoulder. "The galaxy does not understand us," she said. "It fears humans because it knows what we are capable of. We survived while others destroyed themselves. It will be hard for them to see that we do not want war." Jack nodded. "They cannot help it. It is in their nature. Humans are different. We wait. We learn. We act only when necessary." Ethan managed to approach closer, risking detection. He could see the ship's hull, massive and scarred, yet functional. Old markings were visible, almost like signatures from centuries ago. He wondered who had built the ship, who had commanded it, and what it wanted now. Lisa Grant worked tirelessly, deciphering more of the old language. She discovered parts of the message intended for all civilizations in the galaxy. Humans did not seek to conquer, but they would not be ignored. They were patient, and they remembered everything. Their silence was not weakness, it was strategy. The ghost ship began to move faster, though still without using known jump corridors. It cut through sectors, ignoring patrols and obstacles. Alien ships tried to fire, but their weapons malfunctioned as if the ship itself rejected attacks. Small explosions occurred around the ghost ship, yet it remained unharmed. The patrols had never encountered anything like this. Ethan, guided by instinct, tried to communicate. He reached out in the old human language, though he barely knew it. "I am with you," he said. The ship seemed to respond, not with words, but with movement. It slowed slightly, as if acknowledging him. He felt a connection, a deep bond that went beyond logic. Humans and the ghost ship were linked, even across centuries of silence. Jack and Kate prepared for first contact. They knew that the galaxy would react with fear. They also knew that the ghost ship would not attack unless provoked. Their role was simple: guide it, support it, and ensure that humans returned on their own terms. In the council chambers, fear grew. Fleets were ready, but none wanted to move first. The ghost ship's presence alone caused panic. Advisors whispered about old wars humans had fought, victories no one fully understood, and technology that had disappeared. Even the most confident generals admitted that humans were unlike anything else in the galaxy. Ethan watched the ghost ship as it approached the inner systems. He could feel history unfolding around him. Humans had waited, and now they were here. He wondered what would happen when the first signals of humanity reached the council worlds. Would they prepare for peace or assume war? Jack looked at Kate and smiled faintly. They are about to find out that humanity never vanished. We only chose silence. Kate nodded, her eyes bright. And now the galaxy will remember us, whether it likes it or not. The ghost ship moved with quiet authority, unchallenged but observed. It carried the weight of millennia, the knowledge of countless battles, the patience of a species that had survived through strategy and wisdom. The galaxy could not touch it, could not understand it, but it could watch, and soon it would hear. Ethan felt the pull stronger than ever. He knew his life was about to change. He would witness history, participate in it, and maybe even guide it. Humans were returning to the galaxy, and the age of silence was ending. For the first time in 20,000 years, the stars were alive with human presence. Fleets, worlds, and civilizations would never forget it. And at the center of it all, moving steadily and silently, was the ghost ship. It did not threaten. It did not attack. It only reminded the galaxy that humans had endured, waited, and learned. And now humans were coming back to speak out. The ghost ship moved slowly, deliberately toward the heart of the galaxy. Its hull reflected distant starlight, scarred and battered but unbroken. Fleets tried to shadow it, but the ship was always one step ahead. Alien patrols whispered fearfully to one another about the humans they thought had disappeared. Humans were no longer myths. They were real, and they were awake. Jack Morris studied the course of the ship. He had spent years preparing for this moment, decades of research, gathering old maps, star charts, and battle records. He knew the galaxy would be confused, afraid, and angry. Humans had waited for this day for a very specific reason, and Jack intended to see it through. Kate Ellis worked quietly on her small vessel. She had reinforced it with old human technology, simple yet effective. She did not need speed or weapons to match the ghost ship. Her task was to follow, observe, and guide if necessary. Humans had survived because they moved with precision, and she would not fail them. Ethan Ross floated near the ghost ship in a scout vessel. He had followed it across sectors without permission, drawn by a force he could not explain. His heart pounded as he watched the massive ship glide through space. It carried more than power. It carried history. Humans had survived not because they fought recklessly, but because they had patience, knowledge, and foresight. Lisa Grant continued her work, decoding human messages. She had discovered something remarkable. The ghost ship carried information not only about humans, but about the galaxy itself. Humans had observed for thousands of years. They had recorded wars, alliances, betrayals, and mistakes. Their silence had not been emptiness. It had been study. Humans know everything, Lisa said quietly to herself. They have waited, learned, and prepared. In the council worlds, panic had grown. Lorik and his advisors argued constantly. "We cannot let it reach the core," Lorik shouted. "We do not know its intent. It could destroy us all." Another council member, far calmer, shook his head. "We do not understand humans," he said, "but attacking it could be the mistake that destroys us. It has waited 20,000 years. It is patient, but it is not foolish. We cannot provoke it." The ghost ship moved closer to the systems near the galactic core. Fleets tried to intercept, but the ship bypassed them easily. Energy fields and shields protected it, but the humans inside were not hostile. They only wanted to move on their path, and nothing could stop them. Ethan felt a strange connection. He did not understand why he was drawn to the ghost ship, but he knew it was important. The ship carried something vital, something that could change the balance of the galaxy, he whispered. "I am ready. Show me what humans planned all these years." Jack Morris prepared a communication array. He had spent years decoding old human records, learning the language and protocols needed to contact the ghost ship. His hands shook as he activated the array. Kate watched silently. This was the first real communication between humans and the galaxy after 20,000 years. A deep hum resonated across the nearby systems. The ghost ship slowed and began to transmit in old human language. The message was simple, calm, and powerful. Humans had observed the galaxy for millennia. They had not disappeared because they feared war. They had remained silent because they had learned the cost of violence. Jack read the messages carefully. The ghost ship revealed that humans had learned to survive by watching, learning, and waiting. They had seen empires rise and fall, civilizations destroy themselves with greed and pride, and countless species perish because they acted without thought. Humanity had chosen a different path. Silence, observation, preparation. Kate nodded, understanding the wisdom behind the decision. They did not vanish, she said softly. They waited until the galaxy was ready, or until the galaxy made itself ready. Ethan listened to the transmissions in awe. Humans had not forgotten. They had remembered every war, every betrayal, every lesson. The ghost ship's purpose was becoming clear. It was not a weapon meant for conquest. It was a warning, a guide, and a guardian. Humanity had returned not to destroy, but to correct. In the council chambers, chaos erupted. Lorik shouted, "They will strike! They will destroy us!" The calm council member spoke again. "Humans are not here to strike. They are here to remind us. They survived because they learned the cost of war. Attacking them now would be foolish." Jack and Kate prepared to move their small vessel, followed the ghost ship, observing as the human records activated. Ancient defense systems, long dormant, powered on automatically. The systems were not aggressive, but they made the galaxy aware that humans had not been idle. They had prepared for every threat. Ethan approached closer, letting the connection guide him. The ghost ship seemed to acknowledge him. It slowed slightly, as if allowing him to understand its purpose. Humans had survived because they were patient. They had endured because they had chosen silence over conflict. Now, they were returning to show the galaxy that survival was possible without war. Lisa Grant worked tirelessly to translate the messages. Humans had left instructions for civilizations willing to listen. They had observed mistakes, recorded strategies, and offered solutions. The ghost ship was a library, a warning, and a guide. Humans had chosen to return, not for conquest, but for balance. Jack watched the ship move, and he realized the depth of human strategy. "They waited," he said. "They waited until the galaxy became dangerous enough to need guidance, but not so dangerous that guidance was useless." Kate looked at him, understanding. "They are teaching," she said, "not attacking. They survived by knowing that power without wisdom leads to destruction." Ethan listened to the ghost ship's hum, feeling the weight of history around him. Humans had survived 20,000 years of silence, and now they were ready to speak. The galaxy had forgotten them, but humans had remembered everything. The council worlds were forced to listen. Alien leaders heard the messages, saw the defenses, and realized that humans had returned not to conquer, but to guide. Fear began to mix with respect. Humans had survived where others had failed. They had learned what the galaxy had not. Jack prepared a final transmission. He wanted to explain the truth of humanity's disappearance. Humans did not vanish, he said. They waited. They observed. They survived while others destroyed themselves. The ghost ship is not a weapon. It is a lesson. Kate nodded beside him. "We are part of this, Jack. We will show them that humans do not attack without reason. We will show them what patience can accomplish." Ethan reached out mentally. connecting with the ghost ship as if it could hear him. He whispered, "We are ready. Show the galaxy what humanity learned." The ghost ship moved slowly toward the central systems, its presence alone changing the balance of power. Fleets and patrols could not approach it without risk. The ship was alive, aware, and precise. Humans had chosen this path, and now the galaxy would see it. Lisa Grant translated more messages. Humans had left instructions for cooperation, for peace, and for survival. They had seen the destruction caused by arrogance and greed. They had learned to endure, to wait, and to act only when necessary. The ghost ship carried not only power but wisdom, a record of all that humans had survived. Jack and Kate prepared to join the ghost ship as it entered the inner systems. The galaxy would soon understand that humans had not been idle. Every decision, every maneuver, every lesson had been part of a plan. Humans had waited 20,000 years for this moment, and now it was here. Ethan watched the ghost ship, feeling history in motion. He realized that humans had survived because they had learned the cost of action and inaction alike. The galaxy had assumed silence meant weakness, but humans had proven that patience and wisdom could outlast all threats. The ghost ship approached the Council worlds. It did not attack. It did not threaten. It only reminded the galaxy that humans had endured. Fleets fell back, unable to confront the ship. Alien leaders realized that the human presence was not a danger, but a lesson. Jack and Kate moved closer, ready to guide, ready to help communicate humanity's message. Ethan felt the pull stronger than ever. The ghost ship was not just a vessel, it was a living record, a teacher, and a reminder. Humans had returned, not to conquer, but to ensure the galaxy could survive its own mistakes. As the ghost ship hovered near the central systems, Jack spoke quietly. "The galaxy will understand eventually. Humans survive because we chose silence. Now it is time to speak." Kate nodded. "And when we speak, the galaxy will remember us. They will remember what patience, knowledge, and wisdom can do." Ethan floated nearby, ready to act, ready to witness. The ghost ship moved with quiet authority, carrying the lessons of 20,000 years. Humanity had returned, not with fire or anger, but with truth and memory. The Council worlds listened, fleets paused, and alien leaders realized that the humans they had feared for centuries were no longer just myths. They were real, patient, and wise. And the ghost ship, moving steadily and silently, carried the message that humanity's silence had always had a purpose. The galaxy had assumed humans were gone. Humans had not forgotten themselves. 20,000 years of silence had prepared them for this moment. The ghost ship was not just a ship. It was proof that patience, strategy, and wisdom could survive where power alone would fail. And humanity, at last, was ready to teach. The ghost ship hovered at the edge of the central systems. Its massive hull reflected the light of countless stars, scarred but unbroken. Alien fleets had stopped in their tracks, unsure whether to attack or retreat. Human signals now reached every corner of the Council worlds. The galaxy could no longer ignore the presence of humanity. Jack Morris watched from his small vessel, a calm determination in his eyes. After 20,000 years of silence, humans had returned to speak. They did not seek war. They sought understanding. Yet he knew that fear would come first, as it always did. The galaxy had never faced patience like theirs. It had never seen strategy that endured millennia. Kate Ellis worked beside him, ready to assist. Her small vessel mirrored the ghost ship's movements, but it carried no weapons. She had reinforced the ship to keep pace, to help communicate humanity's intentions. Humans did not fight without reason. They acted with purpose. Ethan Ross felt the pull stronger than ever. He had never understood why he had been drawn to the ghost ship, but now he did. It was not just a vessel. It was a symbol of endurance, of knowledge, and of the wisdom humanity had preserved for millennia. He whispered, "I am ready to see what humans will teach the galaxy." The council worlds were tense. Lorik and the other leaders watched the massive ship with fear and awe. Fleets remained in orbit, weapons ready, yet no one dared fire. The ghost ship did not respond aggressively. It moved steadily, as if observing, judging, and waiting. Jack activated the communication array. His voice carried an old human language, then in the common galactic code. "We have waited 20,000 years," he said. "We have watched, learned, and endured. Humanity is here, not to conquer, but to guide. Listen carefully, and you will understand." Kate's voice followed. "We survived because we observed. We learned from the mistakes of the galaxy. We returned to show that patience and wisdom can prevent destruction. Humanity has chosen not silence, but careful action." Ethan transmitted the connection he felt. "We are here to witness, to help share their guidance. Humans do not attack without reason. They survived by knowing the value of restraint." The ghost ship's systems activated fully. Shields glowed, defensive arrays powered on, but no weapons fired. The alien fleets felt the presence of power, but no threat. It was a living reminder that humans had endured, and that power without wisdom was meaningless. Lisa Grant translated further messages. Humans had left instructions for peace, for learning, for cooperation. They had observed countless civilizations fall because of greed and pride. Now they were offering guidance to those willing to listen. Jack realized the significance. "The ghost ship is not a weapon," he said softly. "It is a teacher. The galaxy will survive if it listens. And it will learn whether it wants to or not." Humans survived because they acted only when necessary. Now it is time to share those lessons. Ethan approached closer to the ghost ship. He could feel the intelligence within it, aware, deliberate. Humans had survived by observing, learning, and acting only when necessary. Now the galaxy would see that patience and wisdom could endure, where power alone failed. The council worlds listened carefully. Alien leaders watched as the ghost ship activated communication links with every major system. Humans were not asking for allegiance or control. They were offering guidance and knowledge. It was a choice, not a demand. Lorik was furious. "We cannot trust them," he shouted. "They are humans. We do not know what they will do next." The calm council member spoke again. "Humans survived 20,000 years of silence. They are here, not to fight, but to teach. Attacking them now would be disastrous. We must listen." Jack and Kate prepared to board the ghost ship. Their task was clear: guide the first contact, ensure understanding, and help humanity speak to the galaxy. Humans had waited millennia for this moment, and they would not waste it. Ethan followed, his small ship moving carefully beside the ghost ship. He could feel the weight of history pressing down. Humans had returned, not with war, but with knowledge. The galaxy had forgotten them, but humans had remembered everything. The ghost ship moved into orbit above the council worlds. Its presence was immense, overwhelming. Fleets felt powerless in comparison. The ship did not fire, but it did not need to. Humans had returned to show that survival was not about weapons, but about understanding. Jack addressed the galaxy through the communication network. "Humanity has returned," he said. We have waited, watched, and learned. The galaxy has made mistakes, repeated cycles of war and greed. We are here to show another way. Listen, learn, and survive. Humans are not here to destroy. We are here to guide. Kate added, "For 20,000 years we remained silent, not because we were weak, but because we understood. The galaxy cannot be saved through fear or force. It can be saved through knowledge and patience. Humanity has returned to offer that wisdom." Ethan projected the connection he felt, sharing the understanding humans had preserved. Fleets felt it, systems felt it, and slowly fear began to mix with respect. Humans had survived. They had endured. They had returned to teach. Lisa Grant translated the final messages. Humans had prepared contingency plans, not for conquest but for survival. They had designed systems to prevent destruction, not to wage war. The ghost ship carried the knowledge of countless battles, victories, and mistakes. It was proof that patience could outlast arrogance. Jack and Kate moved aboard the ghost ship, their small vessel docking smoothly. The ship was vast inside, a labyrinth of halls, chambers, and control rooms. Ancient systems hummed with life. Humanity had preserved knowledge, technology, and wisdom across the centuries. It was a living record, a monument to survival. Ethan followed them inside. He walked carefully, awe in his eyes. Humans had waited 20,000 years to return, and he was witnessing history unfold. The ghost ship had not fired a shot, yet its presence was stronger than any weapon. Jack spoke to the ship's main console, activating a message for the galaxy. "Listen closely," he said. "Humans survived by observing. We endured by understanding. Now the galaxy has a choice: repeat its mistakes or learn from our history. The ghost ship is not a weapon. It is a reminder that patience, knowledge, and wisdom endure where power alone fails." Kate watched the message broadcast across the galaxy. Systems, fleets, and leaders received it simultaneously. The message was calm, clear, and filled with authority. Humans had not vanished. They had waited, and now they spoke. Ethan stood beside them, feeling the energy of the ship. It was alive, aware, and deliberate. Humans had survived because they had learned the cost of action and inaction alike. Now they were ready to show the galaxy the value of wisdom over aggression. Alien fleets began to lower weapons. Council worlds paused in hesitation. Humans did not demand obedience. They offered guidance. Slowly, fear began to shift into understanding. The galaxy had assumed humans were gone, but humans had remembered everything. Jack turned to Kate. "It is working," he said. "They see that humans survived not because of power, but because of patience and understanding. They will learn eventually. Humans endured 20,000 years of silence to reach this moment. Now, the galaxy must listen." Ethan projected his connection, sharing the understanding humans had preserved. Alien leaders felt it, systems felt it, and the first real sense of respect spread across the central worlds. Humanity had returned, not to rule, but to guide. The ghost ship moved slowly, surveying the systems, showing its presence without aggression. Humans had waited, prepared, and returned to speak. The galaxy had feared humans, but now it began to understand them. Jack and Kate prepared to speak directly to the council leaders. Their voices carried calm authority. "We are not here to fight," Jack said. "We are here to teach what we learned over 20,000 years. The galaxy can survive its mistakes if it listens. Humans endured because we understood the cost of every action. Now we offer that understanding. Cape continued. The ghost ship is not a weapon. It is proof that knowledge, patience, and wisdom endure. Humanity has survived the silence, and now we return to speak. Listen, learn, and survive. The council listened, fleets paused, and alien leaders realized that humans were real, patient, and wise. A ghost ship, massive and scarred, moved silently but with authority. Humanity had returned, not with fire or anger, but with truth and memory. The galaxy had assumed humans were gone. Humans had not forgotten themselves. 20,000 years of silence had prepared them for this moment. The ghost ship was proof that patience, strategy, and wisdom could survive where power alone would fail. And humanity, at last, was ready to teach. The age of silence had ended, and the galaxy would never forget the return of humans among the stars.